Hello, Christelle. Welcome.
Hi, Christy.
Thanks for being here today.
Thank, thanks for inviting me. I really appreciate it.
Yes. So today I'm going to talk to Christelle. She lives in Bali. She'll explain everything about herself just now. But I'm going to talk to her about hypnotherapy and why. She will tell also what it is exactly, but also just the importance of doing hypnotherapy, of healing yourself when you want to get out of your comfort zone, when you want to achieve things in life, when you want to grow and become the person that you want to be. It's so important to, go on that personal development journey. And this is also what I tell my clients all the time. When you want to find your dream career, you're going to have a lot of fears and self-doubt and limiting beliefs that will stop you from achieving what you want to achieve. And therefore it's so important to work on yourself, to work on your limiting beliefs, to really become the person who you want to be. And now I'm going to ask Christelle to explain everything about it. So maybe you can just first tell a little bit more about yourself.
Sure. Well, I am a hypnotherapist and I do also energy work within the hypnotherapy sessions and outside of the hypnotherapy sessions. And so my work consists of uh, working on trauma healing mostly, and also low self-esteem and low self-worth, emotional issues in general, as well as anything psychosomatic. So when you have, perhaps tension in the body and you can't find what it is, you don't know physically what the issue is, and you've gone to many specialists. So I go into the body like that, and I just try and help you release those emotions that are trapped and are causing the tension in your body. And it's just so much more as well in general. But that, to make it short, that's what I focus on. That's
Could
it.
you maybe just give just a very easy, brief description of what hypnotherapy really is, what it consists of?
Of course. So hypnotherapy is doing therapy within the state of hypnosis. So what does that mean? It means that we go into the subconscious mind. We go and open the subconscious mind, and we go and do the therapy work within the subconscious mind. So this makes the work so much more powerful, and the work so much more efficient as well, because we get to go into the root cause of issues. Sometimes it can take a few sessions to get there, but because there could be many root causes. But for example, you have an anxiety issues. So within the hypnotherapy session, the goal is to go into the actual root cause of the problem. And so once we are there, we do a lot of work, a lot of emotional release and other type of psychotherapy methods as well. And then, so the session is really 3 hours long. So there is a lot of work that it's done within the session. I do add some energy work as well if it's needed, if I feel like the person or the client is feeling any blockages, etc. And just to help, and make the session even more successful and powerful. And so yeah, that's what hypnotherapy is.
And do you maybe have like an example of maybe clients, like how this benefited them in their life, like how they changed because of hypnotherapy?
Examples, yes, many examples. For example, I had, well, I'm just going to take myself first as an example. I was suffering from very low self-worth, also no identity. And I had a little bit of anxiety as well from time to time, some level of depression. And so I've worked through this with hypnotherapy, mainly hypnotherapy. Let's say 90% of the work was with that, with energy work as well, and also with body work. So when I say body work, it means it could be acupressure, acupuncture, or perhaps just really deep going into the muscle body work type. And so the whole combination just really truly helped me overcome all those issues. You know, the low self-worth, also it took some time. Don't get me wrong. It definitely wasn't, a quick fix or one session fix. It took some time. It's a progressive work, especially when you've gone through really low self-worth. So there is a lot to clear, a lot to heal, a lot to address. But I got there in the end. I'm not saying I'm the most confident person in the world, but my level of confidence is at the point where I just don't care what people think anymore.
Wow.
You know, and I feel just really calm within myself, and I just I just feel really calm and content within myself. Like I just don't really care. I used to care really much about how people look at me, you know, how I present myself. I do care still, obviously, because that's, you know, a normal thing to care about, but not to the level where I get anxious, not to the level where I check around, you know, if people are looking at me, or you know, the fear of being seen, or even doing this kind of video, for example. I would have been absolutely terrified to do this in the past. Now I'm just like, all right, let's do it, you know, and just like the stress doesn't even come, or the anxiety doesn't even come anymore. So I just feel really calm and content and happy to be here.
It's just so amazing what this personal development does to you, you know. And like you said, it really is a process. It's not like you do one hypnotherapy session and you read a personal development book and then the next day you're like the most confident person. No, but I think it's a decision to want to change. It's a decision that you don't want to be this person you were. You want to change. You want to grow. And, you know, for some people, it's so easy to just say, I'm a shy person, I'm a shy person, I'm a shy person. But if you keep on telling yourself that, you are going to just believe that. But you can also just decide, okay, I'm going to change. I want to become a confident person. Okay, what do I have to do to become this confident person? And I also just want to know, do you feel like you found your passion now in life?
Definitely. So
Or your purpose?
so it took a long time.
Yeah. Yeah,
Sorry.
your passion or your purpose.
Yeah. So it took a long time to find it. I always used to, you know, this is how I see it. I'm going to tell you how my own experience and how I see it. When I was little, I was very dreamy. I would always dream big and have, but was always a little bit off with the fairies. That's how my mom will call me. You know, I was always interested in witchy stuff and like geography, also for travel, you know, but like astronomy, astrology, like anything that was outside of the box, you know, outside of what we learn at school, etc. And I was always fascinated by these things, and I was always fascinated about anything magical, you know, anything that was just not normal, let's say. And and so, but I never knew that, you know, this would lead me in some ways into my purpose in life. And I'm not saying, you know, hypnotherapy is witchy in any way, shape, or form, but it's definitely something that, you know, as a child, you never say, oh, I want to become an energy healer or a hypnotherapist. Like, it doesn't come like that. But so I always knew within myself that I was always very attracted and very fascinated by this world of, like I would say, the holistic world. So which includes, you know, the body, the mind, and the spirit. So which includes the spiritual components, also the mind, and also the physical body. I've always had a really deep interest into this, but because I had no confidence, and because I had no just no identity as well, to me it did not even occur to go on, you know, into this path, not only into this path, but also on my own. Never. And so, so I just followed, you know, what my parents would tell me to do, and and went onto the path of hospitality for a long time, and thought that was it, even though within myself I just knew it wasn't it. I just really deeply knew that it wasn't what I was meant to be doing. So so eventually it came to me, but it came to me, through burnout, basically, unfortunately. And I had to go through a lot of issues and a lot of failures, I would say, that's where you learn the most. And so when 2020 arrived and COVID arrived, this is where I got my lesson, let's say. And I already knew it was coming within me by moving to Bali, because Bali is a beautiful, very spiritual place. And I already knew within myself that I just wanted to take this kind of path. I didn't know what, I didn't know how, but I just knew that's where I was going eventually. And so when COVID happened, everything shut down, and that was my opportunity, basically, that to change career and to change something, and to look after myself, to heal myself, as probably a lot of people who did that. And so in June 2020, I was living with my teacher, actually, and she said to me, do you want to try, hypnotherapy? I'm going to do a course to train a hypnotherapist. Are you interested? And I was like, okay, I'll just jump, And I didn't think about it. I was like, this is where I'm going to start. I need to start somewhere, And so I did. And after, it was so powerful and so incredibly healing that after that, there was no other questions in my mind. I was just like, I'm going to do this path. So I did. And I continued without questioning myself. And I also learned energy work on the side, because I was really attracted to that as well. And so I combined both. And yeah, and that's how it happened, basically. It just came to me. And I think, I kind of manifested it, because I was always thinking about it. It was always in the back of my mind. I could feel this is where I was going. So I think, I think just, it just came to me at the right moment, at the right time.
Do you maybe have any advice for people listening, how they can find? I think sometimes your passion and purpose can be so big, and that kind of scares people, that they're like, oh, I don't have a passion or purpose. But it can also just be being fulfilled in a career. You can do you have any advice how people can find this out? Because there's so many people who just feel so stuck in their job.
For sure. So I would say, first and foremost, it's really important to look after yourself and to work on what's blocking you, to fulfill whatever you need to fulfill, whatever is your dream, whatever the path you want to take. There will always be blockages for you, internal blockages. There could be also blockages from the outside world, perhaps family life, perhaps your partner, the job you're currently in. But work first on yourself. Do the work. Work on your low self-esteem, because this is going to empower you to make the jump. And this is really important. Whatever you do, whatever you want to do, just start with this. Empower yourself. Work on whatever issues that is blocking you. And also, secondly, I would advise to or recommend really to surround yourself by people who are empowering. This is really important. This connection, and feeling empowered, feeling supported in whatever you want to do. This also will change everything, because if you're alone in the path you want to take, this is going to be just way much harder to do this. So that would be my two biggest recommendations, for sure.
Yeah, because
and
no, you go.
Yeah, sorry. So I was gonna say that I was within the container of, I was within a healing center, so I had a lot of support, and which I was really grateful for. And but eventually I knew I needed to take this path on my own. I needed to go on my own and make the jump. And what I did before doing this is I worked on myself. I continued to work on my self-esteem. I continued to work on empowering myself, because I couldn't have done that before. I just knew, even you can make the jump, and sometimes the jump will empower you anyway. Pushing yourself will empower you, but you really want to go into the internal blockages, because they will come eventually back to you on your path. So work on that first. Feel empowered to do it, and surround yourself with people who empower you as well, and like-minded as well.
That's really good advice. Like, I see with a lot of my clients that they are just they really feel so miserable in their job, but they fear so much because they have a good paycheck, they they have a mortgage to pay, they have kids, so they need to provide, and they're just so scared that if they do something else that they might be more happy, or they'll make them happier, or they're more passionate about that, then they cannot pay the bills. Or what if they make a mistake? What if they fail if they start their own business? Or what if it's not? They just see so many obstacles, and therefore they don't make the jump. Therefore they don't make the change, because the obstacles are just blocking them. And the low self-esteem, the self-doubt, and the fears. And that's why I think it's so important to do this hypnotherapy, so that you can change who you are, and then you can finally take that step into the unknown, get out your comfort zone, because so many people they're just too scared to do it.
Absolutely, and that's how I was. I was absolutely terrified. For me, it was not even an option to go on my own or to do my own thing. But it's like I said, it's really important to work on that, because everything that's in your subconscious mind and that is weighing you down will also make you see what's around you, your life, your experience in life in a different way. So it's not just about releasing emotions, or unblocking blockages. It's about also your perception of what's happening around you. So when you feel very low in your self-esteem, when you feel just not confident and full of doubt, you also perceive all the blockages around you, and that's all you'll see, because there is a lot of fear inside. Fear to jump, fear to do it, fear of so many fears that you can think of. And so your perception will be so different. You will see everything that scares you, everything will be scaring you, or everything will be a block. And so from the moment you reprogram or change the self-esteem, and reprogram it, then your perception will be so different. All of a sudden, all these blockages won't matter anymore. You'll be like, oh, that's okay. I can actually make that work. The kids are there. Yes, it's a lot of time, but I think I can make this work. Eventually, we can work around it, etc. So, yeah, it's not just the feeling; it's your perception of it.
So interesting. And when you started your own company, how was that then for you? Because I can imagine that's also quite scary. Or were you at that stage already so confident that you're like, oh, I'll just start my own company and I'll just go into Instagram and post? And because for a lot of people, that's very out of their comfort zone.
For sure. So it happened. So let's say I just it wasn't about confidence. It was more about I was ready. I felt this pull within myself that that really was just so intense that it just really took me to the point where, all right, I need to live, and I need to go on my own. And once I feel that I don't know if you know that sensation, this pull, this moment where you're like, I really need to make this happen. I cannot be in this environment anymore. It doesn't matter how good the environment is or how bad the environment is. you just need to make the jump, because it's just like it's becoming unbearable for you inside. It's just like you got to do it. So that's how I did it, basically. I was just like, okay, I don't really have the choice now. I really need to make this happen. And the confidence, still I had a bit of doubt, but the doubt wasn't like before. Now I was just like, I'm confident enough. My self-esteem is so much better. I'm so much more in my power. I know what I'm doing. I've got all the tools to do what I want to do. So I'm just gonna do it now. And I did it. And it's just, it's been absolutely amazing and rewarding. Even though, of course, there is moments where it can be quite scary, because you're just like, oh, am I going to have enough clients, or am I going to be able to survive financially, etc. But somehow, once you are on this path, and you are aligned on the path where you should be on, all these fears, they come, but they just go instantly as well. And because you are on the path, you are doing it. So it becomes this like, this strength, this power within yourself, where you're just undisturbable. Any fear or anything that's around is, yes, it's a problem, but it's also not. It's a problem that you can fix. And there's always solutions to anything. So yeah, that's how it feels today.
So, but there's also, like what you said, you were in a burnout, and you hear that a lot. That a lot of people, they are in a burnout, and then they're like, okay, now I really have to make a change in my life because I cannot go on like this. But it would be great if we could make this change in our lives before we get to that point, where we're like completely burnt out. And or do you feel like sometimes that, you also grow through those experiences? I always find it so difficult, because on the one hand, it's like you don't want to experience that, you want to prevent that, but there are a lot of beautiful stories that come afterwards, that people really cause such an impact, and therefore they made such a big change in their lives. So I wanted to ask you, why do you think it's so important for women to find their dream job, or a career that they love, that is fulfilling them, that's making them happy? And the reason why I'm asking you this is because, I've been speaking to people who told me that, my career, my job, I give it a 6. It's not that bad. Could be better, but it's okay. So therefore, I just stay stuck in my job. And, I don't really agree with this, that you should stay in a job that's okay or so. I believe that you should do something that you're really passionate about, and that gives you energy, and that just excites you, and that you just, when you wake up, that you feel like, doing your work because you like doing it. So I'd like to know your perspective on this.
Of course. So I do agree with you on this. I think it's important to have a job or a career, if you have that's fulfilling you, or at least gives you energy in some way. It is really hard for people, to find what their passion is, or what really fulfills them. But I would say it's important to just find something that really gives you energy. And even though you're not perhaps on the path yet, that can happen also. Because it can take time to find yourself on the path you're meant to be on. Just do something that really gives you energy. Also, there is the fact that some people are very comfortable with where they are, and with their career, and with their family life, etc. And that, I would say, that is okay. If they don't ask to be to change, or they don't ask for change, and they're just quite comfortable with where they are, then there is nothing you can do about it. But if they are comfortable, but also if they feel like they can do something perhaps better, perhaps more fulfilling, so then there is some change to be made, for sure. It's important also for women to do something fulfilling and that gives them energy, because women in general, we are such an important part of the family, obviously. We are such powerful and also spiritual beings. Like, I'm just going to go a little bit on a tangent here, but when a women give birth. So we are literally the portal between the spirit realm, let's say, and this realm, this life, which is absolutely amazing and empowering. So just that, the role of women in our society is huge, just with that as a basic, And so, for example, also when with children, so women have a huge impact over the family because they are the center of the family. Let's say you take a big family with 3 kids, 4 kids or more. If the parents, even that's also, relevant for the father, but if the parents are not happy, are miserable, or just, going day by day, week by week, month by month, and they're just quite bored with what they do, or just simply unhappy with what they do, that is going to have an impact on the children, whether you realize it or not. Because as a child, you will see your mother or your father deeply unhappy. You will see, you will also receive the energy that comes from that, from this unhappiness, and that would impact the whole family as a whole. So it's important for women to do something that gives them energy, that fulfills them, that makes them at least, gives them a little bit of happiness, a bit of joy, or something that's high frequency, basically. Because the more they do that, the more they can give as well. So looking after yourself, working on your low self-esteem, working on empowering yourself is incredibly important for society in general. And I think it's such I think it's such a powerful thing to do as a woman. I'm not saying you should go, into a big career and achieve big things, and but if that's what you want to do, great. But if you just want to do something that's a little bit fulfilling, or something creative, or something very feminine as well, go do that. If you are able to, or go towards that. It's also about going step by step, not just rushing towards your goal, or rushing towards something, going too big too soon. Step by step. That's also the process of healing. It's very step by step process, ladies.
Yeah, I love the fact that you bring parenthood into this, and also like ask my clients, how do you want your children to think about you, when you're not no longer here, and how do you want them to remember you, and also what kind of example do you want to be for your kids. And I think it's so important, when I also think it really causes a ripple effect, your unhappiness in your career on the rest of your life. Then you won't be that mom that you really want to be, and play with your kids, and because you're probably going to be too tired to even play with your kids, have no energy, all those things, it really affects the rest of your life in a really big way.
Absolutely. It would affect your family life and everything else around it. So yeah, it's important to create that high frequency energy, this joy, this perhaps this fun, this happiness, because if you're depleted at work, then there's nothing to give when you come home, so yeah, if you find yourself in the situation, then there is change to make.
Just quickly, a different question. How do you deal with setbacks in your life?
So depending on what kind of setbacks, I would say, with setbacks, usually I also, again, take it step by step. For example, if I don't know, if I fail in doing something that's really important to me, I always take it as a lesson. It's very important. There is always a purpose behind everything. There is always a lesson to learn. There is always room to grow, and every mistakes, every lesson that comes to you, there's something to learn there. That's really important for your growth. So I always take it this way. I always try and understand what's going on. Why did I fail at doing this, or why is it not happening the way I wanted? And I'm just like, okay, there is other options, there is ways to grow, there is way to improve. How can I do better? That's how I go usually about setbacks. And also being gentle on yourself, being kind to yourself. Because when we experience low self-esteem, we tend to be very hard on ourselves. And it's very important to just do the opposite of that. This is why also it's so important to work on our issues, on a subconscious level, because the more the less self-esteem you have, the more you go down into the spiral when you experience setbacks or failure. So it's important to empower yourself more and more and more, and just work on all these issues, because then you will also feel stronger, feel more at ease with whatever comes to you. When, for example, when we have a lot of emotional burdens and we carry a lot, setbacks will feel this way. If we feel like ups and downs and big emotional waves, and it will feel very erratic. But when you start doing the work on yourself and start really releasing all these emotional luggages and all this heaviness and reprogramming the mind, then setbacks will feel more like that, and issues will feel more this way. So this is really important, and also to detach yourself from the situation, to really see it from a different angle, from an outside angle, and just go, okay, what's happening here? What can I improve?
I think that's really.
Does that
definitely. I think also with me in the past, if something I had a setback, it would be like the end of the world, and then the more you grow and experience, then it's not such a big, I'll find a solution for it. Because if you're going to find your dream job, or you're going to start something new, or start your own business or whatever, of course you're going to have setbacks. Of course it's not going to go in a linear straight line. You're going to have ups and downs and stuff. But indeed, you have to be your best friend, lift yourself up, and learn and grow from those moments.
Absolutely. And this is why it's so important to be surrounded by people who support you, nourish you, and empower you, and also to keep on doing the work. And it's not sometimes, also this is also the same with healing. When you do hypnotherapy work, my healing journey has never been just a straight line like that. It's always been a little bit up, and then I had a big fallout, and I just was in the depth of everything was coming up basically, and then I just went back up and back up, and then a little bit more down, and then it just kind of smoothed itself eventually. But this is you will always have setback, like you said, and it's about empowering yourself, doing the work, so you can be just more at ease with whatever comes. Whatever comes to you, it's okay. There's always a solution.
Yeah, and it's not a quick fix, but for the rest of your life, I think you'll be on this personal development journey and learning and growing. Yeah, exactly. I love also all the mindset stuff. Like, I could speak about that. I think your mind is just so important, so powerful. Your beliefs. You can create your own whole new reality just by changing your thoughts and your beliefs about life and about yourself.
Absolutely. It's so important. And like, even as a hypnotherapist, I still see it in myself. Sometimes when, exactly when I have a setback, if I go too much into the fear, perhaps, or negative emotions, then I'm just like, okay, like, this is not going to make it any better. This is not going to make it easier for me. So how can I empower myself? How can I work on perhaps the fear that's coming up? So it's really important to be proactive about those feelings, and not just let yourself go down into the spiral, because it's very easy to go down into the spiral. Yeah,
no, 100%. And I also think what's important to know is that, you're not alone in this. Some people, they think like, because especially with social media and everything, everybody looks like, you only see their highlights, and everybody's on a high, and everybody's so happy in life, and everybody's so successful and everything. And then you're like, am I the only one who's stuck like this,
Yeah.
But you're not, we all go through these kind of things. And it's nice to be able to share that with other women, and be able to come together and talk about these kind of topics. because in the olden days, people didn't speak about any of these things. You didn't go to psychiatrists or to hypnotherapists, and it's so amazing that now it's so much more accessible, and that people are more open to these kind of things. I think it's a great improvement and development.
Absolutely, and it's great, to see that it's just getting more and more accepted very fast. Actually, I believe, which feels amazing. Like when I first started 3 years ago, 4 years ago almost, it was still, not very. It was still something weird, hypnosis. But now it's just getting everywhere, and it's more and more accepted, and people recognize it, and people just are just like, yeah, this is great. So it's amazing to see this, and it's
It really
beautiful.
is. Okay, so just to wrap off, any last piece of advice to women who are listening right now, who are feeling stuck in their career? They want to make a change, but they're scared. Any last piece of advice you want to give them?
A last piece of recommendation would be just love yourself and really do the work. Work on your issues, work on your self-esteem, empower yourself. That's the best thing to do. Because whatever fears that is stuck within you is not here to serve you. It's here to just create a different reality that what could be. So yeah, that's my little advice.
Thank you so much for being on the show today, and keep up your inspiring, beautiful work that you're doing. It's absolutely amazing. And thanks everyone for listening.
Thank you. You're most welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for inviting me.